Hey everyone, I'm the CTO at Tangram, and I'm going to be going over today how to manage and create users for your Webflow powered Tangram sites. So in this video, I'm going to cover 4 parts. First, we're just going to go over my initial configuration. Second, we're going to go over different ways to create users. Third, we're going to go over the different ways to log in as users. And then fourth, we're going to cover some related functionality to users more generally. Stuff like webhooks and API related stuff. So I'm going to start off by just showing you, let me move that down there. I'm going to show you what I have pulled up right now. So in my browser right now, you should be able to see I'm on a Webflow site that is connected to the Tangram app. This is just a demo app with 2 test users in it right now. We have Missy and we have Joseph. If I go over to Webflow, you can see this is actually, built in Webflow. All the design is being pulled in from the Webflow site. If I go to that link, it brings me to where I just was. And then second, I have pulled up here the Tangram backend for this platform. It's got, the same users you can manage, as well as a user of a different role, and then my own admin account that I've just created. Other than that, this is a fully fresh Tangram instance. We have some listings here, just the default automatically generated ones for testing. And that's all. So to start, let's go over the most important, probably single thing as an admin that you need to know for managing your users in Tangram is this users tab. So by default, when you start using Tangram, you'll have this tab in your admin navigation called users. And this is a table of all of the users who have signed up for your platform or who you've created accounts for. From this menu, you can do a lot of stuff. You can log in as your users. You can ban them. You can manage their accounts more deeply by clicking that manage button. By logging in as them, you can take any action on their account. But from the admin account itself, you can also do things like, change the values of their fields. You can reorder the order in which the fields show up on their edit profile page for the user. You can also create new reviews. You can create new listings, etc. So I'm not going to go over every little thing you can do from this dashboard, but most of the user management functionality can be accessed from the users tab while you're logged in as an admin. So the first topic we're going to cover right now is creating users in Tangram. And there's 3 ways to do that. The first and most simple way is to go to the default login page. So if I go to, I'll go to an example live platform actually. So here's one of our customers called Gymbag, or actually they're SoulShape. They're a marketplace for holistic wellness services. So I'm going to click login or sign up here. And I'm brought to the sign in page. If I click sign up, I'm brought to this form I can fill out to create an account. By default, this is available in all Tangram platforms. You can, you'll always by default have the ability to sign up via the sign up form. We can disable it if you'd like. And you would do that from the admin settings or by contacting our team, and we can do it on your behalf. So that's the first way. I'm going to go back to my test account now to show you the rest. So if I go to, let me pause the video and pull up my credentials actually. So I'm back in my admin account now. And the second way to create users is via the new button here from the admin users table. While you're logged in as an admin, you can fill out this form, and a user will be created with the inputs you add here. If you want to trigger like a notification to the user that their account has been created, I'll teach you how to do that at the end of this video when we get to webhooks. But for now, I'm going to move on to just the third user creation method, which is via the API. So I'm going to pause the video again, and I'm going to pull up the API documentation. So right now I'm looking at our API docs, at least a subset of them, and there is a full set of endpoints related to user creation and management that you can use if you're working with the dev team, or if you have the ability to implement this yourself using custom code or something like Airtable or Zapier. So you can use this to do pretty much any operation you can do through the user interface. You can do via the API. You just, to use the API, you'll just need to talk to our founding team to get API keys provisioned. But once you have those keys provisioned, you can basically have full like automated user creation, updates, and retrieval through the API. So finally, we're past the user creation section of the video. Now we're going to transition to logging in to your user accounts. So the first method, there are 3 methods to do this. Technically, 2 of them are accessible to your end users, and 1 of them is just for admins. If you're logged in as an admin, I'll just cover that one first. Like I mentioned earlier, you can log in as another user. And if you click this button, it will bring you into their account, from which you can do basically whatever you want on their behalf. The next thing is logging in as a user via the login form. So if I go to app.tangram.co/login, you can see an example of this. When a user signs up on their own, they'll have an email and password. And they can just log in normally like you could to almost any online service on the planet. The third way is using Magic Link. So if your users don't have a password for some reason, for example, if you create them via the admin form and they haven't had a chance to access their account yet, you can send them a link to app.yourdomain.whatever/magic. And if you have Magic Links enabled at the platform level, you'll be brought to this page where you can have your users enter their email, and it will send them a link to the email, which they can click on to log in without a password. So I'm going to pause the video one more time, and I'm going to move on to the next section. The last thing is I just wanted to cover quickly some additional functionality you can access to manage and modify your users. The first thing is webhooks. So we have a pretty comprehensive webhook infrastructure that lets you basically pick a source of data in the app. So you can pick users, and you can send all or any of your user data to any URL whenever one of these events happens. So the ones we have right now enabled on this platform are user created, user approved, user updated, and user sends a chat message. So if I choose user created as the trigger, whenever a user is created with the following role, you can set any of your roles. You can trigger an automation on Zapier or whatever to fire. So for example, a common use case of this is to add a user created webhook. If you want to or if you're creating accounts through the admin portal, like through this form on the users table, you can, for example, create a user created webhook on Zapier or something and trigger it whenever you create a new account through the admin portal, and email that user a welcome message. Or you can do stuff like, remind users that they have chat messages that were recently sent. You can update an external service whenever like the user's updated in Tangram, so you can use that to sync up with your own database or Airtable or something like that. There's obviously like an unlimited number of things you could do with this, but those are some pretty common examples that we see from our end. And then the second is just going back to the API one more time. We have a lot more than just the user API. You can pretty much modify everything in the app using the API. So if you have a dev team or if you are a dev, there's some pretty powerful resources available to make all of the data accessible and modifiable by you. So hopefully this video has been helpful. Feel free, if you have any questions regarding any of the content in this video, to email support@tangram.co, and we're happy to get back to you. That email should be attached to the account that this video is hosted on. But regardless, I hope this has been helpful again, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day.